Hello, everyone. This is the sixth, I almost said sixth, sorry. This is the Ingress NGINX community meeting. Sixth community meetings happening right now as well. This is February 15th. This is a CNCF community event. So that means it is guided by the CNCF terms of service. Wow, I am just not here today, guys. I completely apologize. Code of conduct. So that means just be kind to each other. If you have any issues, please report those to me or Ricardo. And with that, we'll go ahead and kick it off. Do we have any new members today that would like to introduce themselves and tell us why you're here?
Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm Attila Fabian. This is the first time I'm joining this meeting. I'm from IBM Cloud. And today I joined because I would like to discuss a proposal with you. So thanks for having me here, and it's nice to meet you all.
Really appreciate it. I saw the note in the Ingress dev chat, so we'll definitely make sure we talk about that. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Alrighty.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Kundan. So actually, I am contributing to NGINX community since last 1 year. So I joined this meeting first. I'm from NEC Corporation. So I joined today to get an idea to means what things are going on this for NGINX and what things are up to me also to contribute further, so that I can get better idea to work in progress or to contribute better in this community.
Well, we appreciate your contributions and thank you. Yeah, this is definitely a meeting for us to figure out where we're heading, what we're trying to accomplish. So thank you for joining. With that, do we want to start with the run through the triage? I know Noah always does a great job of giving us things to talk about. We can run through the follow-up and the triage of those, or we can run through what we have. How are we feeling today, folks? Want to just jump right into Fabian's request?
Yeah, there's one thing we maybe can quickly talk about, and that's the Ingress class problems. Let's call it like this. Ricardo asked me to start something around this problem, and yeah, I created this one, and would be happy if we can, or if you guys can contribute to that, so that we yeah, somehow get this document filled up and yeah, can work out the solution for approaching this problem.
This is the Ingress class name problems with people using older versions.
That's the whole Ingress class problem, actually, not only the name, right?
Yeah, the deprecation thing.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I have just opened here. I will also take a look. But the idea, I don't know if you got an opportunity to take a look into the recording of the last meeting, James. But and what we discussed on the Slack channel as well. But I'm trying to split our efforts at least in three major things that are being painful for our users, right? So the first one is the Ingress class one, which is being repeated over and over in issues and problems. And to be honest, as I told last meeting, I think that I can say myself actually, we've made a mistake on the Ingress class implementation stuff. So I should probably, while migrating to version 1, not keeping and sticking directly with the specifications, but other than that, trying to make a soft transition. And as I just implemented the way that was described on the Ingress class thing, it broke a lot of users and user experience and etc. So I want to kind of not roll back that, but maybe soft the implementation in a way that we can say, hey, it works on the old way that you were used to, and it also works on the new way. And the new way is actually not the required way. So we are not going to deprecate annotations. We are not going to deprecate the Ingress class by name. Actually, the new way is the way that you should say, hey, I want to work with this new way. Because if you take a look into the other Ingress class, the Ingress controller implementations, even I'm not sure if the Google one, but I know that like Contour and other ones, they are really soft on their implementation, right? So Ingress class annotation still works and still is the way of doing things, and it works with Ingress class by name. So I wanted to make a research on that, and maybe we say to users, hey, we've made a mistake, and we are gonna sort of roll back, or at least provide us some feedback on if you all are willing to work on the old way, right? So we implemented actually the Ingress class by name as an example by the request of IBM Cloud back in that time, because it broke a lot of things on IBM Cloud as well. So probably we just need to distance from the community after that and saying, hey, what do you think about that? I had a discussion on SIG-Network Ingress with cert manager folks as well, and we didn't got like a concrete answer of you should do this or you should do that, right? So the answer was, hey, the documentation of the API says that the right way of doing is this way, but annotation should be before the Ingress class and etc. So, okay, to me, something like you should do the way you think you should do.
So just enabling both ways and letting the users choose.
Yeah.
We keep learning this lesson, Ricardo. I think we learned this with the last Semver problem that we had. So definitely learning. And I think we talked about a couple issues in Slack where it was just we need to enable users to make the choices and not force default on them. I think one of the ones was in the we were talking about it yesterday. So I think if we just keep erring on the side of letting folks make the decisions themselves, I think that would be helpful. So it's always fun when we continue to relearn that lesson. So there's nothing wrong.
At least we are learning, right? There was a PR of someone trying to change something this way, and we all agreed that that change should be an annotation that the user should opt in and not opt out, right? So I guess was one that you sent to me, and also Jintao commented over that, like, hey, this should be an annotation. So we are learning.
Yeah.
The hardest way, but we are learning. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. None of us are professionals. Okay. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to read this, but I mean, just the plethora of issues definitely seems like something we should look into. Is that going to take the priority over the data plane split? Because I know that was the other, because you said there was 3. I'm assuming Ingress class, the data plane splits the other one. I don't remember what the third one was.
Let me come on. I am with Slack closed here, so Kubernetes Slack closed. So let me take a look. But I remember that I have actually, I guess the other one was docs. We have Gateway API, which Jintao is taking a look, and we have docs. So I asked Long to take a look into the docs, because right now, I mean, we've got some feedbacks on our docs, right? And probably we need to, our docs, I think they are fine, but we need something better. It's hard to figure out all of the options that we have. It's hard to have like a quick start that just works, right? So I've asked like Long to take a look into that, and with the user perspective, and not with like the system admin with 5 years of experience perspective, right? Because that's those are different things. So we should just think on someone that's just starting with Kubernetes and they want to deploy an Ingress, and hey, how all of this works, right? I kind of miss that thing. Even explaining what is Ingress, what is Ingress controller, that Ingress is a proxy, and making some diagrams on that, and etc. So I think it would be a good win for us getting those things in our documentations, getting a better doc. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I realize the same thing, because like I was saying before the recording, I've been learning a lot about Tecton, and there's lots of things can be assumed and you don't want to make assumptions. So learning something new is very difficult when you don't have great docs. So I think that definitely is something we should prioritize. As always, we talk about you having way too much to do. Do we have any idea of anyone else who can help out with the Ingress class bit?
I
Is that
think
just a
that maybe
documentation, or is that going to be required code changes?
no, it's gonna be coding, and as far as I remember, Aditya stepped it forward on Slack to help
Okay.
us. So Aditya, if you want to help us on Ingress class, like helping Noah is helping with all of the specs and mapping everything. And I guess that after that we are gonna need someone to take a look into the coding issues and how to make it possible. So if Aditya wanna, I'm not volunteering you. I'm just
No,
remembering.
no. Yeah. So I volunteered myself. I think I do lack a little bit of context, so I will have to maybe chat offline once we have something concrete on where we want to go. But yes, I am definitely willing to help.
See,
Okay. So any of the new features, and just kind of like what we did with Ingress class and V1, we probably want to freeze any new large features until we get these 3 priorities figured out.
yeah. So that this was actually another discussion that we've had on past meeting, right? So we keep receiving a lot of PRs with some features, and some of them they scare me, like dealing with external auth and also some canary, mainly the ones that deal with changes in Lua side. So I'm not opposed to approving those, but I won't be I won't be on that pressure, like, hey, someone taking a look into that, hey, someone taking a look into that. So I need folks to help me review on that things, because otherwise I just don't want to just like approve and then get a new CVE over that feature, right? So that's all. And I've been mostly focusing on the data plane split. To be honest, I was going to take a look into that over this weekend, but I was really tired. But yeah, something is actually going on. Something is happening. I hope that in 1 or 2 months, I have some more concrete proof of concept that we can start messing around with it.
Awesome. Okay.
Maybe we should release that on KubeCon.
Yeah. KubeCon EU, we have a new data plane model.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Definitely. Thanks for catching me up on that. I didn't get a chance to re-up where we were, so thank you all. With that, definitely need to review those. Okay. With that, Fabian, do you want to take the helm? Which issue was it? Was it this one, 8113, right? 8183?
Yes, that's it. Would you mind if I share my screen? I just have a
Sure.
diagram that will help me
Yeah,
give you some details.
pictures are always helpful.
Oh, okay. It says that the host disabled the attendee screen sharing.
No, you're not allowed. There you go.
Okay, that's better. Just a second. And do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so thanks for having me. The problem I'd like to talk about is related to external authentication and to custom snippets that are often used with external authentication, to be more concrete with O2 proxy and with the recently published CVE around snippets. So when as part of the authentication process, after a successful authentication, the O2 proxy sends back some cookies to the client. It can be 1 cookie or it can be 2 cookies, depending on the size of the cookie it would send back to the client after the authentication. And the reason for this is that O2 proxy don't want to send a cookie that is greater than 4 kilobytes because it wants to be compatible with all kinds of browsers out there in the world. So if the cookie would be greater than 4 kilobytes, then they split it into 2 parts and they send it back to the NGINX. The problem comes in when the NGINX out request module would forward these cookies to the client, because the NGINX out request only forwards the first set cookie from the response. And for this reason, the OAuth2 proxy community offers a custom snippet, a custom Lua script that takes care of copying over the second cookie if it's present on the response. So that's one use of custom snippets in case of external authentication. And the other use case that we often see is that users want to modify the authorization header that they pass it to the backend application after a successful authentication. So in that case, OAuth2 proxy sends back 202 response to the NGINX Ingress, and it contains a bunch of headers, and users can choose. At the moment, there is an annotation that allows users to choose one or more headers to be forwarded to the backend application. But for example, in the OAuth2 proxy case, the authorization header contains the ID token, and some users want to have the access token. And in that case, they can choose to use a custom snippet and use that snippet to modify the contents of the authorization header they want to pass in. So these are two wide use cases that we see. And the problem comes in when the recently published CVE around snippets, users usually want to disable using custom snippets at all, or they blacklist, or they want to blacklist some of the keywords, for example, by Lua or anything like that. But in that case, these external authentication snippets would stop working. So they need to choose whether they accept the CVE or they keep their external authentication working. So for that, I mean, in order to help these users, the proposal would be to move these snippets into the nginx.conf Go template and drive their appearance in the configuration through two new annotations. One of the annotations would be, for example, something like a out cookie name that would specify the name of the cookie, and we can check if there are two cookies with that name and the other one has a suffix. We could copy over the second one as well to the client. And the other annotation could be something like out authorization header value from, that would allow the customer to, the user to choose a header from the OAuth2 response, and it would grab the value of that header and pass it in the authorization header. And for example, if the OAuth2 proxy sends the access token back in the xout request access token header, we could grab the value from there and pass it in the authorization header. All of the feedback is welcome on this one, and thank you in advance. And if we have any concrete agreement on this one, I mean, if you want to implement this or not, we would be more than happy to implement it.
Okay, I'm just taking a look into our docs, but I think it just, yeah, if this is like a common use case, it just makes sense to me. We stop relying on custom snippets, service snippets, to have something more, let's say, sanitized, right? So annotation that doesn't accept anything. I can see that we do have the external OAuth as part of the actually of Ingress from a long time ago, and yeah, I think that they're probably, if you want, you can, in my opinion, you can send a proposal on that thing. Other thing that I wanted to look into that is that actually, and if you folks from IBM can also provide us a feedback, is other situations that snippets they are used and maybe trying to turn them into configurations, right? So I've seen folks as you using snippets to modify headers. So I've seen folks using that as add headers and other stuffs, and I would love to start reducing the need of the usage of snippets to something that actually turns into a configuration key. So in my opinion, and I don't want to bias anyone, so if someone wants to have an opposite opinion, please go ahead. But I think it just makes sense to me. I'm just, again, I'm just like stepping on eggs when we are speaking about security, because I'm sort of like, hey, okay, we are gonna add this, but just try while implementing to think how those new annotations, they can be used to bypass something or to revert something. Like, how can someone use that on the wrong way to do wrong things, right? So this is my ask for all of those new annotations that deal with external authentication or custom headers or something like that, right? I'm one of the persons that on past added a feature before being an Ingress NGINX maintainer that actually added the same thing. Like, I was bypassing certificate authentication because of another thing. So let's just try to stop and think, how can we avoid that being a vulnerability in Ingress NGINX? But other than that, I think it just makes sense to reduce the usage of custom snippet to annotations and other things.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Regarding the request of collecting configurations that are often used in custom snippets, I will look around on what kind of configurations do our end users have, and we'll try to send you
It's mostly
some
just, yeah, that's not a requirement. That's just like an ask that you folks, you are on the battlefront, right? Having all of those requests and etc. So it's a good feedback for us. What else we can improve and stop relying on wild snippet around there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. But sounds good. Yeah, just open and ping us on Slack, like, hey, this is my proposal. This is a proof of concept or not. This is how it works, and we can start discussing the security implications of that thing. But for me, it looks just fine. I don't know if James, Noah, someone else wanna talk about this.
Sounds good for me, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, it makes sense. I think it's interesting because it ties into the other issue that we were talking about yesterday. In chat, I'll drop it here in the chat for everyone to see, because depending on if the backend returns a 404 or not, Ingress doesn't always send the cookies back. So you might want to check into that one as well, Fabian, if you're going to implement this. Might be something to look into as well. I just dropped it in the Zoom chat. Awesome. Well, we appreciate that, and go ahead and jump into the issue triage unless anyone else has anything that they would like to discuss.
Thank you again.
Thank you. All right, let's make sure I share the right screen. Got too many. It's the one I was talking about earlier, reading through that. Let's go ahead and go through Noah's excellent list. Tolerance to API vulnerability. Someone wants to work on this. The moment API becomes available, it takes a minute or two before Ingress NGINX unregisters all the backends. This looks like a very old issue again. Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, I grabbed all the older ones.
Oh, look, our Ricardo.
Yes.
So kind of want to put this one on hold until we get the proof of concept on the control plane split. Looks like Ricardo's got a handle on this one.
I'm not sure. I think he just showed a possible solution, but I don't know if he wants to implement this one, or if someone else should somehow take over it. We could mark it with the help label,
Yeah.
maybe.
Do that change the same set of endpoints while APIs on available. Yeah.
I thought maybe there's someone in this round who wants to volunteer. That's why I brought it up.
Nothing wrong with bringing it up. Open telemetry is confusing as a state. Can we update this issue, please?
Back.
Had to go get your Red Bull.
Yeah, this one actually, Damien is taking a look in this. He pinged me on Slack to look into the promotion of image, but I am a bit. I'm a bit away from Kubernetes Slack actually, due to some other downstream that I need to do. But I will ask him to reach one of you just to help him on the image promotion for the open telemetry model, because one thing that we've put as a showstopper was actually, hey, we need to split the open telemetry from the main NGINX image. So Damien took a look into that, and he just asked me, hey, can you help me promoting this? So if someone can help him on this one, I would really appreciate that. So let me.
He just needs to set up the build image, like we've done previously with like the website hooks and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So the model already exists. So we need right now to open a PR on test infra and create that image and promote that independently. And the next step probably that we should do is again with mod security. But right now, Damien did that with OpenTelemetry, and it's working fine, but it's not already a part of our repo, so he can't move forward. And I just didn't got enough time to answer him. So I will just try to cycle back and ask him to ping you or Noah or Long or someone that's already aware of how this is done.
Yeah. I think he should just write into our Slack channel. There are several people who can help him probably.
Yeah, let me just open Slack here.
I was gonna say we just did this with, what was the latest one we just did this with?
Was with gRPC something, right?
Yeah, because we just had a merge request. We just had a pull request for this. Oh no, it was the external auth example.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Let me just answer.
I think this one's it. Yeah, this one's it, because this is what I was looking at yesterday. I'll drop this one in here and then let him know that we can help him out with that. I'll put the solution on. Oh well, he's already merged this.
Yeah, that's why it's so confusing. The pull request is merged, but the issue is still open. It's not really clear what the state is.
Yeah. So yeah. So sorry, folks. I was just answering Damien on Slack. So the pull request is merged. So now it generates a new image, right? So we need that new image to be part of our build process. So we have NGINX image, we have the Ingress controller, the gRPC, echo server. Yeah. So the idea now is that we need to have like Ingress NGINX OT model and this needs to be part of our build. It does have already a cloud build somewhere there, and Docker file and etc. But we need to add this thing into
K8 staging.
Exactly. And before K8 staging, actually, it needs to be part of the test infra. Let me find that. So test infra, because the K8 staging is just a post commit step, right? But before that, we need the cloud build to run. And the cloud build to run is another job that I never remember where is it, but I just...
Yeah, I think part of it is documented in our release docs.
Yeah, exactly. That's right here.
Okay, you can have him reach out to me. I'll help him get it set up, and we can schedule some time with him.
I've just answered him.
Okay.
This is the place that we need to add that first, and then after that we need to do the image promotion stuff.
Okay. I don't think I spelled his name right. Okay, cool. What's wrong with this one now? Someone with access to AWS willing to help out with this one, trying to reproduce. I'm guessing there's an issue.
I don't have access to AWS. I do have access to. I have access to VMware Cloud if someone wants me to test something.
I've got access to an AWS account.
Cool.
We don't have any failed test cases. There restarts there. Happens. I'll go ahead and take this one. We'll look at it. Looks like it's been open for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into this one too.
Cool.
And yeah, I'll see if I can reproduce the issue. And this one, distinguish the wait shutdown. I think we've had discussions on this one several times.
We had, and we thought it would be easy to implement, but apparently it's not.
Is that how it always works out?
I don't remember this one. Sorry.
Oh, well, yeah, because we talked about it a month ago. There was something, I vaguely remember this issue.
The problem seems to be that it's running in another thread or something, and that's why the logs will not go to std out or something like that. So the plan that we had didn't work. Yeah.
I would need to read all of this probably.
Yeah,
you can assign it to me, but I don't know if I will be like able to look that in like the next few days or not.
Yeah, I think we all need to. Let me drop it. I'll drop it in the Ingress dev. See if we'll get everyone to look at it, because I don't remember this one either.
Let's go.
Okay. And with that, we go to the new stuff.
Aren't we missing something on that issue triage? I think
on the label.
No, I mean on Noah's list on the
No, there was the last one. There was just one, that one before, also an easy one, maybe for someone, an easy one, updating the docs.
But to make that, we did we already migrated a whitelist to allow list in the annotation thing? I don't think so. Right?
That's a good question.
Yeah, so because I think today we already call it a whitelist and not allow list. So the proposal that I've made on past was that we can so we can't deprecate whitelist again because of like we don't want to break users, right? So one thing that I was thinking was like, hey, we should probably support in the same piece of code that whitelist and allow list, they are like the same thing, and we should just check first if allow list exists. Other than that, we should check if whitelist exists and then inject that into the same structure in the Go program. So it should be an easy one, actually, but that's not just docs, right? I don't
Okay,
think
then
I don't
I got
think
that wrong.
we
Okay, I maybe got that
yeah.
wrong. I thought it was just because of some wording that is different. But yeah.
Let me just double check here in the code as well if I'm not saying if we implemented that and I can't remember, but I don't think so.
It looks
But
like
again,
the PR from Tokers is still open.
yeah, but the PRs from Tokers is actually to implement the block list, right?
Block list, not the.
And back in time when he wrote about like being blacklist and we asked him like, hey, can you use block list? And someone said, yeah, but then you should change whitelist to allow list. And that discussion began, and we said, yeah, we don't want to implement that. Like, we don't want to migrate from whitelist to allow list. We probably want both of them working together, right? So
do a minor release change and then in a release or two do the breaking change.
Yeah.
Okay.
IP whitelist here. So yeah, so the annotation here, I can take a look into the code. Where is this thing? No. Yeah, it's called nowadays. It's called whitelist. So let me just share with you just for a moment. So if someone wanna take a look into that, probably it's gonna be easier. Share, I think. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the package that we need to change, right? If someone wanna take a look and help us. So we have this parse function here, and it gets the string annotation as whitelist source range. So what I think we should do is probably we should try to fetch first something like allow list source range, and then whitelist source range, and maybe we can do like a prioritization of one over the other, or maybe just merge both of them, right? So saying, hey, if we have whitelist and then allow list, we are going to just merge them both and add them into this structure source range. And this is like internals. So I don't think we need to change right now this whitelist to allow list and something else. This is not something that the user sees. This is something that the user sees. So my proposal here is that we should probably do just add another line here with allow list and saying, hey, now we support both allow list and whitelist. We are not going to deprecate whitelist annotation, but we strongly recommend if you want to use something that's more inclusive, just use allow list, because the opposite of that is going to be block list, and we are not going to have a blacklist, right? And then if we decide to deprecate that in version 2, we can version 2 or version 3 or whatever deprecate. But right now, I would just say that we can do that and merge both of the annotations. We can even remove the whitelist or state that whitelist is deprecated, but not that we are gonna just like remove that from the code, right? I don't think we should remove that from the code. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with the approach.
Yeah,
because like we said at the beginning of the meeting, we've made enough assumptions with breaking changes and gotten yelled at, so we don't want to do that again. So yeah, so put that a caveat in the docs as well as, we'll keep both, we'll merge it, and then we'll slowly, when we do a version 2, probably when we do the Ingress class stuff as well, we could do that. We just gotta stagger them.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is like a good first issue. So if someone that's a good first issue for people learning to code. So if someone wanna take a look into that and maybe help us, it's just fine. And I can guide you. I can try to make like 30-40 minutes to implement that in like pair programming if someone wants. I just can't. I just don't actually want to take that one for myself because I think that someone else can take a look into that. That really.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if you don't mind, I can look into this.
Yay. So let's just assign that to Kundan and maybe we should just rewrite the description of the issue or add like, hey, we are not gonna just stuck with documentation. We are gonna add a new annotation that's more inclusive and that's gonna merge all of the IPs from whitelist and allow list. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Let me stop sharing here. I don't want you to see my screen with my secret job.
Kundan, can you paste your GitHub name into the chat for me so I can assign this one to you?
Pardon? Yeah, I couldn't get you.
Can you send me your GitHub username?
It's Kundan, KUNDAN 2707. Kundan 2707.
2707. Okay.
Yeah.
There you are. Hey. I assigned it to you.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks. And as always, if you have any questions or issues, just drop a note in the Ingress dev Slack.
I promise I will come back to Ingress to Kubernetes Slack like next month.
All good, Ricardo. Let me go ahead and open up Triage. How are we doing on time, folks? 47. Get through a couple of these, right? Relative URLs with auth sign-in. There's been a lot of auth questions lately. Which one? Special kind. Auth. Using Ingress templates. Okay. Auth URL, sign-in. Oh, auth2 proxy.
Yeah, we can just assign Fabian, isn't that?
Yeah.
Right now we have a new specialist on auth proxy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say specialist, but yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, don't feel that. Don't feel the pressure. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no worries. Gotcha.
Bit of digging suggested that build auth location routine simply returned an empty string. Okay. I'm not so sure this is an issue. They're just assuming since the proxies run in the same cluster, they think they can just use running the same cluster servers. I expect to be able to use a relative URL like this. You still need a full URL for that auth sign-in, I would assume, because it's got to know where it's going, even if it's running in the cluster. Use the cluster DNS name. I don't understand how using a relative URL would be helpful, unless it's running on the same Ingress controller. I guess it is. I don't know if this is a feature that is high priority right now, with all the other things that we've discussed that are issues. Guess Ricardo's reading, he's getting really close to the screen.
Yeah. I'm just trying to also deploy this far. What he's asking actually, so I can see what he's doing, but what he wants to do is there like
Yeah, it's hard
okay,
to
I see.
understand.
Okay, I see now. So that's on the
Right
end. So
here.
he wants
Yeah, at the end.
something that actually doesn't get written to the whole. I don't know how the implementation of that thing is. I would say that maybe if this is possible, I wouldn't use the same annotation. I would use something else like auth URL relative, and then okay, you can just use the relative instead of the absolute, right? So
What?
something
Yeah.
more soft.
And if the user's having to hit that to log in and it's not resolvable, why wouldn't he just expose that externally anyway with a load balancer so that they can log in?
Yeah, I got his point. Like he does have like another location on the same ingress that resolves the authentication stuff, right? So it does have the user have like another location, another ingress that resolves. I think that this thing actually makes sense, but I don't think it's like, hey, that's not a high priority. So we can maybe accept that and add as a backlog, right? And saying, hey, because it's mostly like a request of softening the validation of the auth URL. And let me see. I keep receiving emails here.
What happened with monitoring.md? I added it.
Oh,
I think Long already asked him to put in a PR.
sorry.
I just think Long did a very nice way of asking him for a PR to update the docs. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. Request tag. What is request tag for controller 5.0? Well, one, that's really old. What, is it possible to establish deploy static that deploys Nginx controller v5.0? I was hoping to pick up 7933. 5.0 is, yeah, breaking change. Okay. He should be able to get that from the legacy branch, right?
Yeah, Long just
Oh yeah, that's
pasted.
basically
Yeah.
what I said. I believe that the deploy will work. However, there's another aspect of the request that I didn't elaborate initially.
Yeah, Long is right on this one.
Again, this
Yeah.
is, yeah.
I agree with him. This is actually a legacy, and there is a reason that we don't publish this on master main branch anymore, which is we don't want to keep the support on that. And actually, we have a plan to deprecate that at all, right? So, yeah, we should probably have a place to point in README or somewhere saying, hey, if you are looking for the deployment scripts for the legacy, just go here. But I don't think we should just publish the legacy deployment scripts anymore on the main branch. Actually, this is my opinion, at least.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've discussed this many times since the V1 discussions.
Yeah.
that might be a little straightforward, but yeah, I mean, that's really a relatively old cluster or old instance. I think we got time for one more, folks. Exposing the same set of services via public and internal DNS using a single ingress controller. Okay. He's gonna make his life very difficult with split DNS, but you know, teach their own.
Deploy an Ingress resource that also exposes the same host but for internal load balancer. Is this like a status problem? Like it's a private DNS, so I'm trying to avoid that road. Okay, I think I got it. So external DNS works with Ingress fetching the status from the load balancer, right? The IP. And, yeah. So yeah, so this one is like, yeah, I would probably need to take a better approach on that. I have actually no idea how to solve this.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I said with the previous one, we put a backlog on this. I mean, I could definitely see why folks would want to do this from a network traffic perspective and costs, but yeah, I'll put triage accepted and put it on the backlog.
Yeah.
See what it wants. And now why did it pop up if? Oh, because he said dash accepted, not triage space accepted. That's why it still showed up for us.
No, it's not correct.
Yeah.
Expect, yeah. Okay.
Typing's hard when people are looking, right? All right, folks. So we've got a couple things signed out to us.
Yeah, I have just one thing, a little one. Our supported versions table.
It's not been getting updated.
It could be that we may have to remove one thing. That's what I wanted to ask. No, it's the 046. I think we support N-3, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Dropping 46 here.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't disagree. PR is accepted.
Okay. Yeah,
Wild.
I will make it quick.
That one was unnecessary, James.
Oh, no one knows. I was just
That's okay.
It was a good way to end it. So,
Yeah.
Thanks everyone, and
Okay.
we'll see you all in a couple weeks. And if not, see you on Slack.
See you, folks. Have a nice week, you all. Thank you.
You too.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.